Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. You can see we're here with Dance and Wurrzag with his buddy Kemmler. Going to be taking 2v2 with greenskins and vampires up against the Empire and the High Elves. You can see quite the host arrayed against us, so let's go ahead and take a look at the army compositions. For myself, it's my standard Heinrich Kemmler build. If you guys have seen this build before, not too much different about it. Got the Chaos Tomb Blade, Dance Macabre, Invocation, and Raised Dead with Krell, of course. Front line is some Skeleton Spearmen. Then we've got a second line of Skeleton Warriors with the Königstein Stalkers, and a final line of Graveguard. One of you guys had requested me to do almost like a triplex axis. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Sort of like the Roman formation. This is similar, although not exactly the same. You could say Stadi are the Skeleton Spearmen, the Principe are the Skeleton Warriors, and then the Graveguard are the Triari. We've also got 3 spiders, count them, 3 spiders, Ragnarok spiders that is. Wurrzag is the only orc here, and then everything else is a spider. So we've got Ragnarok spider and the Queen. We've got tons of spider riders down here, 4 Goblin Spider Riders, 3 Spider Rider Archers, 2 Goblin Big Bosses on spiders, and another Ragnarok. For myself, I've also got the Dire Pack, 2 Blood Knights, and the Varix Reavers. We take a look at the Order forces here. We've got Allarielle up in the air. She's got plenty of spearmen, all ranked up to rank 9. You can see these guys are rocking a 63 melee defense. The Scions of Mathlan, and same for the standard spearmen. Fireborn, going to be positioned out on the flank. They've also got 2 units of archers and the Everqueen's Court Guards, 1 bolt thrower, and the Pure Main Company. For the Empire, a whole mix of state troop spearmen, looks like Sigmar's Sons, some halberdiers as well. We've got a Hellblaster volley gun and the Hammer of Witches, Demigryph Knights with halberds, Volkmar the Grim, and a Light Wizard with Shem's Burning Gaze and Net of Amantok, as well as a Witch Hunter. And we've got Free Company Militia, Silver Bullets, and I believe that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's get the battle into full gear. You can see right off the bat, I'm going to be just pushing straight up the pipe here into both formations, since obviously I have the main infantry. The idea here is we had so many large targets to shoot at that regardless of what they choose to shoot, you know, they're going to be getting value, but they can't shoot everything down fast enough. The Dire Pack, unfortunately, did get caught by the Fireborn back here, but they're going to get bogged down by spiders while my Blood Knights and Varix Reavers come to take that engagement. Meanwhile, you can see the shambling horde advancing, Wurrzag doing his dance as he boogies on up. But again, this spider here gets netted and gets a significant beating from the Hammer of Witches and from that Hellblaster volley gun. But all the time that it's shooting at that, it's not shooting at the Blood Knights, it's not shooting at the Corpse Cart, it's not shooting at the other spiders. And we are going to be getting the wah popping off in just a moment here. We'll watch this pitched engagement develop as these Fireborn are holding up a ton of our mobile forces here. But once the Blood Knights and the Varix Reavers come in, the Blood Knights, of course, especially, they'll be able to get a lot of work done. Looks like some kind of vortex being dropped here, a banishment. Not sure if that was from Allarielle or who that was from, but it's going to do some okay damage, especially to the Spider Riders, but probably not the best at the end of the day. Now the wah's popping off, so as these Fireborn pull away, the Dire Pack, the Varix Reavers, everything else here getting a huge damage spike, so they're going to start to take a lot of damage. Meanwhile, this spider came in. Black Iron didn't realize that these were the Everqueen's Court Guards, so that spider's getting a light show, while the rest of these units in here popping off with the wah, of course. Königstein Stalkers up to 49 melee attack. They're just going to be cutting up those state troops. The Empire forces are definitely suffering here. Blood Knight's going to be collapsing in on this flank. We got Volkmar there with an effigy to get, so he's trapped in with these Blood Knights here and their Skeleton Spearmen. Granted, there are some Demigryph Knights with halberds here protecting as well. Fortunately, not the Royal Altogriphites, but it is going to be a pretty pitched engagement overall. You can see Heinrich Kemmler and the spiders advancing up to the center with Dance and Wurrzag. We've got, I believe Krell was just summoned up. Nope, not quite yet. Just, you know, dropping some healing here and there. We've got this flank kind of bogged down with some skeleton spears. We've got, yeah, just other skeletons out there. now that we dealt mostly with the Fireborn, we're going to start collapsing the High Elf player here. Again, just kind of tying him up and really not allowing him to come to the aid of the Empire player, who's definitely suffering right now, compromising that Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Allarielle is going to dive down in here, but this is extremely risky considering there's a unit of Blood Knights on station. Krell has been summoned now. You can see him chasing down this Witch Hunter, and yeah, Witch Hunter with some arrows sticking out of his head. Not too happy about the situation. He might shoot at Krell a little bit here, but we definitely want to zone him out and not allow him to accuse Wurrzag of heresy, because of course Wurrzag is definitely a heretic, and that accusation would probably be true. But these Blood Knights here are definitely suffering in this combat. There's State Troop Spearmen, Demigryph Knights. Granted, there's a Spider here as well. Volkmar's taken a ton of damage too. These Gobbo big bosses are in here kind of poking at him. So overall, it's been pretty even. We are creeping ahead on the balance power a little bit just because Volkmar's taken so much damage, and these Blood Knights and Varix Reavers going to have to pull away here and let the Spider Riders kind of screen them out, because we're just taking too much damage from those Everqueen's Court Guards, who have used up quite a bit of their ammunition. But you can see this be broken through very heavily. A lot of the Empire troops being routed off. Both their artillery pieces have been compromised. And yeah, we're going to be summoning up some zombies here right on top of Volkmar. We've got these 2 Blood Knights here. 3 Blood Knights that are crumbling currently, 4 actually. But they're in critical binding just about. They're crumbling, but we do have the tools on station to keep them alive. You can see the corpse carts coming through. Heinrich Kemmler also standing in this pocket, providing alternately either the Master of Undeath or the Chaos Tomb Blade, depending on whether he's in melee or not. It's going to be a constant regenerating effect, but just check out how low these Blood Knights actually get here. They're down to 8 HP. You can see dipping down to 5 HP, even lower at points. But there's just the 1 Blood Knight there, and the regenerating effects from the Corpse Cart and from Kemmler are enough to keep him alive. In just a moment, we're going to be dropping an Invocation of the Heck on him as well to start to stabilize that unit. But it dipped so low there. It dipped at one point like 4 or 5 HP. But just there, now the Invocation dropping. It's going to get healed back up. They're actually going to start to regenerate some unit models there. You can see their unit models popping up 4 or 5 and more. And yeah, it's going to be very beneficial to have those Blood Knights in the late game. My other units of Knights are just chasing down, routing state troops, making sure that we keep them routed off. And again, the High Elf player just kind of being occupied here by Spider Riders. I've still got some other skeletons and Sternsmen now fighting the Pyrmane Company, so that'll definitely be a little bit of a wet noodle contest, but the anti-infantry bonus, especially from these Graveguard, will definitely help here. Granted, they are getting their armor sundered, so they're down to only 60 armor, but still pretty solid. You can see the Corpse Cart and Kemmler pushing forward here, just trying to rout off the last of the state troops. Volkmar did go down there. So, yeah, with Volkmar finished off, you can see the balance power is tilted even more in our favor. And that unit of Blood Knights that was down to 5 HP has been able to regenerate to a full 14 models. And, yeah, they're definitely going to be very critical in this late-game situation, especially because there's still these Everqueen's Court Guards and some other archers online. Pyrmane Company. Allarielle herself is also very healthy, and the Fireborn have come back from routing, have been dealing with a lot of the Spider Riders here down on this flank as well. So, we're definitely in for a tough situation. But as long as Kemmler and Wurrzag stick together, we should be pretty decent. Because one thing I noticed, and I don't know if this is intentional, I actually pointed this out to CA, and not sure if it was a bug or what, but the Chaos Tomb Blade here actually doesn't only affect undead units, it will affect all units in an area of effect, all allied units. So Wurrzag, I was noticing, and I'll point that out in just a moment here when it happens, was actually getting healed. But this spider, unfortunately, coming forward a little bit piecemeal, gets mowed down there by the Sisters of Avalorn. So you can see them kind of conserving their ammo here for the high-value targets. But the issue is these Sternsmen and the Graveguard here are just grinding through this high elf front line. And despite the very high melee defense of these ranked-up Spearmen and the Pyrmane Company and everything, it's still going to be a pretty atrocious trade overall, and it'll definitely take a long time, just because Graveguard, you know, with the healing and everything, decent defensive unit. You can see the Knights now pushing around the flank here, and it's just not going to be enough to protect. You can see Everqueen's Court Guard's going to take a charge from the Blood Knights there, and Gobbo Big Boss also coming in to support as well. A nice brain burster there, proccing off the Bonewood Staff. for Wurrzag, so that's going to give a map-wide buff, of course. Blood Knight's up to 91 charge bonus with that Bonewood Staff, which is such a good item in a 2v2 situation. These archers are also going to take a beating here, getting charged by both Blood Knights and Varix Reavers. Definitely going to be a bad situation for them. Meanwhile, Kemmler and Wurrzag are making their way to the front line. You can see Wurrzag pushing through here. He's all stoked to be part of the melee. Fortunately, Krell did crumble, or rather disintegrate somewhere around here. I'm not sure exactly where he got off to, but Kemmler's going to be pushing through, and once that Chaos Tomb Blade starts, I'll show you. You can see Wurzag's taking a little bit of damage here, and just watch Wurzag's HP start to regenerate once that Chaos Tomb Blade goes off. You can actually see in his tooltip that the Chaos Tomb Blade is active, and his health is regenerating, so yeah, I'm not sure if that's intentional, but it's definitely cool. And I want to do some testing because the Chaos Tomb Blade also resurrects combatants. So I wonder if you could actually like resurrect combatants from something like a Grail Knights or, you know, a non-undead unit. But you can see in a very pitched late game engagement, red on red here. This is the elite cav matchup that everyone wants to see. Blood Knights versus the Fireborn. Allarielle in here supporting, but yeah, it's definitely pretty desperate at this point. The Varix Reavers are going to crumble away. They're gone. Blood Knights are just about gone, but thankfully we've got one more fresh-ish unit of Blood Knights that's going to come in here and finish things off. The other unit of Blood Knights, this is the one that had been stabilized from before. Fortunately, so close to their healing cap and also crumbling at this point. They've taken like 2 full units worth of damage, so they're going to go. But the other unit of Blood Knights still online, going to be able to provide some support in the late game. You can see Wurrzag. We'll grab some cinematic action of him just mixing it up with this big blob of High Elves as well. And Kemmler, definitely having a good old time. Spider still online, and the Blood Knights getting a nice rear charge here. With that, it'll probably be a terror route. You can see the Wa popping off once more, and again, 70 melee attack on those Blood Knights. Just absolute MVPs here. And yeah, not too much more left on the balance of power. Allarielle's really all that's holding the leadership left here, and the Everqueen's Court Guards pretty much used almost all their ammo. They have a little bit left, but they were able to get quite a bit of work done, especially against the spiders. But Allarielle dives down, which is very, very risky because 1 or 2 attacks from these Blood Knights and she's going to be done for. You can see a few of them do get some attacks on there, and that's enough to send her leadership down to rout. At the same time, all these units over here get a Brain Burster and get terrified, so that's going to be enough to send the dagger to the balance of power. And it'll be it for the High Elves and the Empire. You can see now only the Sigmar's sons fighting, so we'll go ahead and fast forward as they get munched on by spiders, charged by Blood Knights, and just run over by the shambling hordes of the undead, and of course, Dance and Wurrzag. Very fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Once again, Greenskins showing their power in a 2v2, especially with the very just inexorable, unbreakable front line. I mean, not technically unbreakable, but vampire counts, of course, don't rout in the traditional sense, so that you can get some great value. Even if a unit is crumbling, you can still get some great value from those map-wide effects. For Black Iron here, you can see 2 of the spiders, you know, didn't get any work done, but they did provide a nice tank, if you will. They were distraction spiders, if that's what you prefer, but they took the shots and allowed my knights to get in there and just get an insane amount of work done. You can see 102 kills, 30 kills, but an XP chevron on these Blood Knights. A lot of those are against like Demigryph Knights and getting some work done against Volkmar. Stabilizing those guys and having them until the late game was also great as well. 190 on these Blood Knights. They were the ones that helped deal with the Fireborn. They just ran over the side, and just overall absolute MVPs. Dire Pack kind of got caught out there, but the Graveguard, the Triari, if you will, of the vampire counts did very well. Konigstein Stalkers also 93. They will clean up those state troops, especially with the buffs from Wurrzag. And I don't know how these Skeleton Spearmen got 56 kills, but again, buffs from Wurrzag, who himself racked up 73 kills, was mixing it up in melee, tossing out Brain Bursters left and right, and the support buffs from Wurrzag alone are enough to make him worthwhile. But 135 on the Arachnarok Queen as well, and those Spiderling summons, I didn't really highlight them too much, but they were instrumental in helping to shut down like the Empire artillery and ranged units. He was popping them up in the back line, running them, and chasing down the routing artillery crew and routing skirmishers, so that was very clutch play as well. Yeah, as far as our opponents go, the Demigryph Knights did get some good work done, but unfortunately we just had so many large targets that despite the Demigryph Knights and the artillery here, they just weren't able to get enough work done fast enough to take down the large targets. 71 kills on Volkmar, not too bad. 58 on the Sigmar Sons, but the rest of the Empire troops kind of just got run over there. For the High Elves, they definitely took down a lot of the Spider Riders. 95 kills, mostly against skeletons. 128, not too bad. 125. Fireborn definitely were able to deal with a lot of Black Iron Spider Riders, but at the end of the day, just kind of leaving his Empire teammate out to dry there a little bit, sort of just let his forces get bogged down. He could have been a little bit more aggressive in trying to support his teammates, since we just kind of overloaded on the Empire player with a lot of the skeletons and the Graveguard and spiders, the Arachnarok spiders, that is. But anyway, very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.